Hey everyone, Mr. MC here. This is a guide for Daily Race A, which takes place at Alsace test course in reverse with select cars. And for this video, we'll be taking a look at the 1965 Mini Cooper S. It's a front-wheel drive car. It's actually the only front-wheel drive of the three cars that are chosen. The other two being the Fiat 500F and the Volkswagen 1200. Those two cars are rear-engine, rear-wheel drive, so they're not going to handle the elevation changes that well, whereas the Mini Cooper S will be able to take them pretty well. So let's go ahead and show the tune. So this tune is for the 1965 Mini Cooper S, and I did buy quite a few things for this car, and I needed to make a lot of adjustments to make sure that the car was able to meet the 70 horsepower requirement and be on the comfort medium tires. My main goal was to try to make the car a lot more willing to turn since this car was pretty understeery, so that's why I did things like move the toe angle for the front and rear of the car outward. And I also needed to adjust the springs to try to make it tolerate the elevation changes a bit better. I also bought a number of parts for this car, so I did have to adjust the output adjustment and the power restrictor, so I can try to reduce the power of the car to bring it back down to 78 horsepower. And here are the number of parts that I bought. Something that you want to note is that I bought the supercharger low-end torque to give the car a bit more power, especially as it goes up the nasty hill when you're about halfway into the lap. And weight reduction, you're definitely going to want to buy that. I did buy racing brake pedals and a carbon brake system. And in a moment, I'll show my transmission because I had to actually move the top speed out of set to 150 kilometers per hour since we're on a pretty short track, so you want your gears to be nice and short. And I adjusted the final gear and the fifth gear as well to try to match the fastest speed that I'll be going through in this short track. And before I show the car doing a lap with a mini lap guide, I also need to note that for the car that I'm using, I did buy a wide body. I also bought some rims and specifically made the rim width and the offset wide to try to give the car a bit more grip. And in terms of front bumper, I'm using type B. Same goes with the rear bumper. Wing, this is optional. I'm using type B, but you can choose to not have a wing or a spoiler, so you can try to have as close to zero downforce as you can. And this will apply for the front and the rear downforce. So what you're going to end up getting is a Mini Cooper that is a lot more willing to turn, and that looks a little weird, especially with the massive difference with the front and the rear ride height. But this car is a lot more willing to turn, which is great for a track like Alsace test course in reverse, so it should be a little easier to navigate your way through this track. And especially through Big Binky Boy, this car is willing to turn. You just need to lift off of the throttle and the car will start to turn in. You do want to be a little careful because this car can get a bit wobbly, so if the car feels a little too wobbly for you, what you can do is try to close up the tail for the front and the rear of the car, and hopefully that should make the car a little more stable and not as wobbly for you. And the other nice thing is that the Mini Cooper can handle the elevation changes pretty well, which is a pretty big bonus. But in a moment, we're going to go ahead and get ready to start our lap guide as we're about to start the fastest lap that I ended up getting in this session. But let's go ahead and get started with the lap guide. You can bring yourself towards the middle of the track as you start the new lap because you want to gently bring yourself towards the right side of the track, take advantage of the curbs, and just as you start to pass the sign that is on the right, which is the first left arrow sign, that's when you can start to turn in and just lift off of the throttle. You can use a tiny bit of braking if you can. You just want to try to maintain as much speed as you can while trying to be kind of close to the inside of the turn. Now stay on the left side of the track, and you're going to do lots of trail braking as you go under the Alsace Village banner. So you're going to be controlling your braking power as you're turning in, and you want to take advantage of the curb that is on the right. Get on the throttle for a short moment, but don't be too aggressive on the brakes as gravity will help you slow down. You can take advantage of the yellow and blue curb and start to bounce on the throttle as soon as you can. You want to try to get on the power to get a fast exit. Now stay on the right side of the track, and you want to brake just as the curb on the right starts. So brake in a straight line, 100% braking power for a short while. Slowly ease off of the brakes as you're turning in, so you're doing a bit of trail braking, and as you approach the apex, get on the throttle as soon as you can. But that is going to be it for this guide. Please let me know how the tune is, because I'm trying to get a lot better with this tuning stuff. But that is all from me. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you to Playseat for supporting the channel as well. This is Mr. MCA, the world's most okay player, and I'll see you in the next video.